Hey y'all, hope you had a great week. I know I did. Uh, gonna kind of just voice over all this. You notice that my lips and the vocals are a little bit separate, but there's a lot of wind noise. So I guess let's kind of take it to some trail video, and then we'll go from there. So as you can see, the trails are finally dry. I'm super pumped about it. I'm dropping in from the top of Camrock here. This is kind of my go-to trail. I spend a lot of time out there, mostly because it has a real good variety of trails. And it's got a nice size to it. So my loops, it's about 40, 50-minute loops, and I get a little bit of everything. For as longer rides, it definitely keeps it fresh. Today, I could only get about 220 in, and I was pretty gassed. Even with all the lifting and stuff, uh, body just isn't ready for hours and hours of hammering through. So let's take it first, the bike upgrade. As I talked about in my last videos, kind of in the fall, as I reviewed my bike, there were some things I wanted to change. As you can see, the fork is definitely beefier. I went with the 120. I also switched out my brakes, so I went with those XT 180s, and those were the big changes for this year. What I did notice is that the bike is way more stable and the front end is way more rigid. It holds the line so much better. The brakes definitely make it more capable. I definitely feel like I have way more control now than I did. I can stop at speed, so I feel like I'm not having to, slow down early. Um, but the one downside is that climbing, the balance is definitely off. Descending flats, I feel like the bike is way more balanced and easy to pop. However, when things get really technical, I feel like I'm kind of struggling a little bit with kind of that zippy front end, response. Riding it today, I could throw my hands off and it was a straight line. But, overall, I like it. I think they're just going to have a little bit of fine tuning. So, yeah, we just saw Area 51. I have a video up on that if you want to see the whole thing again, a little more detail. So let's look at this week's volume. As you can see, I got near 15 hours total volume this week. Um, you know, it's about where I would like to be, and this kind of breaks it down as to what my workouts were, as far as distance anyways. You can kind of see where my lifting is. I am a little bit due for a longer ride, but I thought, Monday was going to be the day for that. Well, this ride actually, I was hoping to get at least 3 hours out, but I had to call it. I was just feeling some stress in some of those supportive muscles. You can't really train everything in the gym. That's why you got to get out and ride, right? But usually the goal is to put in the effort in the gym so you can ramp up the trail miles faster. And I got, 3 full loops in. I'm definitely feeling rusty on my bike handling skills. Everything isn't as clean as I'd like it to be. That last step down, I would have liked to hit a little harder. Usually I can float it, but I'm not taking too many risks today. The big thing is corners. The corners just aren't feeling as tight. I can't really lean into the berms. I went out riding today, Monday, the day after this, and I definitely was getting it back. Some flat cornering was really pretty slick. And I like that a lot. When you can kind of just lay your bike over on a flat corner and you start to feel things break away predictably. So what we're moving into here now is Cliff Edge. Now this is probably my favorite trail in the whole Camrock Bike Park. And the reason being is that it's just kind of straight tech, Midwest, nothing crazy, but it gives a little bit of everything, some drops into, some chunk, some punchy climbs, a little bit more technical. And I know that if I can clear this, I'm doing okay. My first attempt at it, I actually kind of stalled out on the climb. Again, I think it's the balance of the bike. It just, that front end doesn't want to stay as planted. It definitely is higher than it was with that 100 millimeter fork. And to be honest, if I was racing like short, snappy races, that 100 millimeter fork would just be better. It's just a snappier response. But I feel like, these 100-mile races that I'm up against, I can definitely sacrifice a little bit of that snappy response for having something that is just a little bit more forgiving, both on the body and when it comes to handling. Definitely the Marji, getting into some of those technical descents. I'd rather have a stiff front end with a little bit more, of a slack head tube angle, and um, you know, just something that can forgive a little bit better. Um, this is all kind of splitting hairs, but when you're looking for every last bit of performance, that's kind of the thing, right? Um, so the other thing this week, I didn't upload a video of me opening my box from Hammer. I did get a huge order from them. Uh, in my bottles today, I have the sustained energy drink mix, and that's kind of my go-to for pretty much anything over like an hour ride. I like it a lot better than even their Heed products. I still have Heed, but I usually reserve it just for general hydration with short, intense workouts. Anything endurance related, I'd much rather have sustained, and I think it sits in my stomach a lot better than pretty much anything I've tried. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the week review. Moving forward, I think I'm going to still kind of stall out at that 15-hour a week mark. I'm definitely not coming out as strong as I wanted to this week. This ride didn't go as long as I would have liked, mostly because I didn't want to, they say move the dial, don't break the gauge. And I felt like towards the end of it, I was just kind of um, overzealous to get on the trail. Today I went out and I did some local stuff at our local park. It's pretty flat, pretty easy navigable terrain, and I feel pretty recovered from yesterday. I was able to push, and all the supportive muscles that I needed to ride today were there. So maybe I could have gone a little bit longer, but it's still early in the season. And I think, a 3-hour ride right out the gate is just asking for trouble. As much as I would have loved to ride 3 hours of these loops. But yeah, so this week, another 15 hours probably. Today I went out to the local park, like I said, got in my legs. You probably see that if you look back on the week review, the data. And then I think the only thing that you probably want to see is the ride if you're not following me on Strava or anything. So I'll throw that data up at the end here. You can take a look at that. And I'll give you the last few minutes to just kind of enjoy this. Oh, I love this end part. So there's this great little drop they put in to some doubles. I like hitting the doubles. I think they're a lot of fun. Little punchy, little scary, just enough to kind of make me think twice. Didn't hit them today. Coming around, you can definitely see there's some wet areas, and there's no tire tracks up those jumps, and it's not really worth hitting something that you don't scout. Learned that early on in life. When I was much younger, I ended up trying to step down in a dirt pit that I didn't scout and didn't realize it was all sand. Ended up breaking my scapula after I dropped about 6 feet. So, you just get smarter about this stuff and always scout the jumps. So this ride ended up great, and I love this week. I hope you all have a great week. Here's your data. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, or I'll see you next week.